But they do is it called a pavilion? Where like it's a glass thing where each of the 12 days of Christmas are on display. So we're like walking around like this whole area.
Very caffeinated too, because we're like, we need venties.
Had our Starbucks and everything. And I was like, hey, so I didn't say it with the voice. Sorry.
You became a man.
I was like, Paige, I really want to start a podcast. Would you want to do that with me?
Everyone's picking sides,
so we're taking a stand.
I'm Paige.
I'm Keren.
And you're listening to the Power Stance Podcast. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. After years and years of us talking about this, we are finally at our first official episode.
Episode 1.
The origin story.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. This is where we're going to introduce you to our podcast background, our ideas, how this is developed, basically the morals of this podcast, what we are, what we aren't. Very important, we're also introducing you to our mascot, the pod dog, Willow, who is the most reluctant celebrity in the world, but she has been with us from day one and has valiantly supported us as the emotional support animal. So this podcast is for her. She's very crammer shy.
She embodies everything that this podcast is all about.
Willow stands for herself, and that is that she likes nobody else but me and like 4 other people in the world. So, Willow really knows how to stick up for herself, and we feel like she's a great role model.
She's got good boundaries for a dog.
She has great boundaries. She says, no way, stranger danger.
Yeah, you can't just pick me up just because I'm a cute, fluffy little animal. You have to earn my love.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm just like, wow, we're finally here. Like, we've been talking about this for like at least 3 years. So thank you to everyone who patiently listened to us as we spouted our ideas and talked about how excited we are about starting a podcast. And then y'all are like, okay, so how do I listen to it? And we're like, we haven't actually launched it yet. So It's here now. It's here.
It is. And it's evolved too. I mean, these are state-of-the-art microphones. We've been recording on our iPhones for a long time where we just put sheets up against like my windows.
Yeah, test recording.
Stop breathing so hard, Paige. Like
I was like, so I'm still congested, but like so congested, and people are like, we love it. I'm like, I sound so congested.
I know, we sound like we're dying, but thank you. So we also are hoping that after a year from now, we will be the most improved podcast.
Yes.
We can only go up from here is what we've decided.
We're going to give ourselves a prize for improvement.
Yeah, we will. We'll have to definitely go for like a really fancy dinner.
Yeah.
Tax
we're going to do like a
business meeting.
We're doing like an awesome launch party is what we're going to do.
Obviously. Exactly. We've already picked out the place because that's how this works for us is we pick out where we're having the podcast launch party and then we're like, oh yeah, content.
Yes.
Exactly.
Anyway, this is really the start of something that's been on our hearts for a long time. And I think we just wanted to kick it off, episode 1, with an explanation of why we're even doing this podcast, why we spent money. This is our personal money out of pocket for podcasting equipment. And, we're not making money, at least at this point. I mean, who knows, right?
Yes.
Sponsors call us, but but we're not doing it for that. I think we just got together. We had an idea, really passionate about it. And so we're going to do this in our free time, basically, and see if something comes out of it. But if not, like, we're just going to have fun.
Right. This is like both a passion project for us that we're just excited about. It's something we're both been on very non-media creative jobs. I'm a CPA, Keren's IT. This is not our normal day-to-day job. So this was also something we have creative hearts and we wanted a way to express it and, empower other people. So this has just been something that we're doing because we love it. And we're just excited to see where it goes.
Yes, absolutely. So kind of I think we're just going to start with where the podcast came from, where the idea came from, and why we're doing it now. Why it took so long, I guess.
Right. Why is it 3 years later?
Yeah. Because we just can't give up. And if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So yeah, it started in a dark and stormy night. No, I'm just kidding. What year? Probably around
2017? 18.
I think it was 2018. Where I had an idea to do a podcast for a while, and specifically on the theme of women in leadership. And, podcasts they're really hot right now because of the pandemic, but even before the pandemic, they were already everyone had a podcast or was launching one. So, and I just like talking. I think y'all can already tell that.
Captive audiences.
To this. So I just thought it'd be a cool platform. Oh, also it's my childhood dream to be a TV show host.
Absolutely same.
Yeah.
We've been dreaming of this moment to have a couch and a microphone.
Yes. But more than that, I was well, I'm too scared to do something by myself because I've never done this by myself. So I was who would be someone that is great at public speaking, loves, the Lord too, is all about women in leadership. And I was oh, my friend Paige hosts her own church small group and is kicking ass at, in the accounting finance world. And I know she can do public speaking because she does it. So
blap in front of friends all the time. So
at the time, you were really busy with a million things. I mean, you always are, I guess. But at that time, you had a job that was
crazy.
Really, crazy. Tons of lots of hours, and then you were doing a lot of stuff outside. So I remember thinking I'm going to ask her, but she's going to say no because she has a lot of other things to do. But I just want to ask and see what she says. So I think we were just planned to go for a walk at the Arboretum, which is a garden basically here in Dallas. And I think it was Christmas time. So they always do a really pretty setup for Christmas. They do the 12 days of Christmas with the, is it called a pavilion? Where it's a glass thing where each of the 12 days of Christmas are on display. So we're walking around this whole area.
Very caffeinated too. Because we're we need venties.
At our Starbucks and everything. And I was hey, so... Oh, I didn't say it with the voice. Sorry.
You became a man.
No, I was Paige, I really want to start a podcast. Would you want to do that with me? And I was just she's going to be oh no, I'm too busy. But you were yes.
Yeah, I don't even think I thought about it. I think I was yeah, that sounds great. So this was a great time for me to not know how to say no yet because looking back, that was dumb. Why did I say yes to this? I was way too overloaded.
Dumb.
But now I'm so glad I did because all those other things have kind of changed or faded out in my life. But the podcast has been something that I was ready to give up anything else to do because I wanted to do something like this, but it's so intimidating. I very much applaud anyone who has approached this by themselves because it's just a lot to do by yourself.
Yeah.
So much to learn. So I was so interested and I love hanging out with Keren. So I thought, Keren and I can hang out, talk about stuff we're interested in. This sounds like a win-win. Love it.
But I remember even you were saying at the time, we both talked about how we were in jobs that weren't creative, just very technical. There was some creativity within it, but it pulled more on the technical side of us. And we were we want an outlet for creativity, and neither of us had it at the time. So I think that was another reason why you were I love this idea. And I was please do it with me. I'm too scared to try this by myself. So we just kind of went with it. Well, so this is 2018. Obviously it's 2021 now.
What?
And so the beginning of 2019, we started planning because I'm a planner. I'm an Enneagram 1. I got to make all the plans. And I'm okay, we're going to do this and we're going to call it this. And we're going to we need to get recording equipment, all this stuff. And then we were we don't know what we're doing. We need to take it a lot slower.
I think our first name was also a complete sentence. So we're after researching marketing techniques, you should not have a full sentence as your podcast name.
It was just hard to get it as the website, the .com for it.
It's women who build cool thing. It was something something that it was very long. Where
didn't fit in a small box.
Yeah, exactly. So trial and error, brainstorming. That's basically.
But we even got as far as writing out a mission and vision at the time, which women in leadership, that's still really relevant to what we want to do. But that was our main focus at the time. And so, but then we started getting into all of these things, and we were I think was it you that made the analogy of like, we thought we were like taking a small bite of like a small cookie and then like realizing it's like this giant
Yeah, this is a cookie cake
of like, oh, there's a lot more to podcasting than we thought. And it just felt like we kept getting delayed and things weren't materializing. And I was just like, okay, so, like every time we try to do something else would come up.
Literally, I think it would be like my schedule would finally free up and like without fail, 2 days later, you would get slammed at work or I'd be in town and Karen would be gone. It was just like we could not seem to get it together on timing, but we were both still really passionate about it.
Yeah.
And we would do like little baby steps. Like we did a lot of practice interviews. And,
yes.
Things like that to try to like, let's figure out our style, which was still super helpful now. I mean, it really helped us figure out, okay, we know our dynamic. Like I think our first, just the two of us, we like really mapped out. And then we went back and listened. We're like, oh, it sounds kind of stiff. So, okay, maybe we don't have to plan that much.
Yeah.
We were just kind of figuring out our rhythm. So there was a ton of work happening. It was just very trial and error based.
Right.
So, it's the 10,000 tests before you actually do you see the light bulb. That's what we were in, where everyone says, are you doing anything? We're like, we're trying, but like the timing isn't working. And every time we're doing a trial and error, we're learning something else, but it's not something that you want to listen to yet.